Good evening, everyone, and welcome to a live stream from yours truly, Jackson Johnson, and my partner in crime, Sports Talk with Austin, as we go over our take on the 2025 AP Top 25 preseason poll. Whether they got it right, did they get it wrong, or is it mid? All of you can decide all that with us, all right here on these channels on Jackson Johnson and on Sports Talk with Austin. Let me tell you something, folks. You're going to be in for a wild ride. How you doing tonight, good buddy?
I'm doing pretty good, Jackson. The excitement's in the air. 2 weeks away, 14 days, and we got college football back in our life. And I'm looking forward to it. I mean, I know week zero's a sloppy slate. You know, you got Farmageddon and all that, but I still look forward to it. And this is one of my favorite things to talk about because the preseason poll drums up a whole lot of debate. I mean, there's teams that are going to be overranked, and then there's going to be teams that don't get ranked at all that end up in the top 25 when it's all said and done. And I'm looking forward to talking about it. So, with that being said, though, Jackson, would you like to see the AP Top 25?
Hmm.
And
Well, Austin, I've got three words. Yes, definitely. Absolutely.
so, kind of going number one, at number one, Penn State at two, Ohio State at three, Clemson at four, and Georgia at five. So I'll start with you, Jackson. How do you feel about the top five?
Seems pretty cool to me. Although I understand the Penn State ranking over Ohio State. I mean, it's like, is Penn State that impressive? Like, come on.
I think it's because of the experience at quarterback, Jackson. I really think with Aller being back, it's one of them where it's just like maybe the AP people. Now we don't know what they're basing this off of, and that's the thing that I want to preface is we have no clue what they're basing this off of. Me or Jackson don't know. We weren't in the room when they voted, so all I could say is they took experience of Drew Aller over whatever quarterback's going to be starting for Ohio State. I understand it, but I agree with Jackson. I For me, Clemson at four. Is Jackson, are they getting a little too hasty on Clemson? Are they thinking we're going to see the second coming of Trevor Lawrence, Clemson, and they're going to be winning natties? What do you think?
I think they really like what K. Klubnik is bringing for the Clemson Tigers. But speaking of which, LSU Miami, I mean, they're get out of there, get out of 9 and 10, get out of there. But Georgia at five, I mean, that's pretty cool. Notre Dame, Oregon, I can live with that. I can live with that.
Yeah,
I was surprised they didn't have Ohio State as number one, to be honest. Like, you would think that because they won the Natty, that would mean they're number one in the preseason top 25.
hmm I mean, it's one of them, Jackson. I know the preseason poll for a lot of people they don't they don't like it because there's been no games played, but it's just one of them. I, Here's the thing, Jackson. The way I look at it is Texas Ohio State played week one, so we're going to get to see a big sample size of who the best
Oh, yeah.
team is. So this is going to solve itself right away. We're not going to be sitting here debating for weeks and weeks if the AP committee gets it right or not. It's going to take care of itself right away. And same for Clemson. They play the LSU. So we're going to get a chance to see if LSU truly is a top 10 team. But I want to ask, though, Jackson, kind of looking at this, Bama 8, since you're the Bama man, do you like it too high or what do you think?
All right. I'm okay with it. I'm all right with it. I mean, it's a good spot. Especially since we got Ty Simpson now as our starter. Because, I mean, it's like when I was hearing last week, they were going to name him, it was a 95% chance. I was thinking they were
Mm-hmm.
just going to keep us waiting like until the week before, but it's 2 weeks before week one. So they
Mm-hmm.
were like, you know what? We're not going to pussyfoot around. Ty Simpson's the starter for Tuscaloosa.
Mm-hmm.
But
And and I will say this too is Jackson. When, and you would know this, when was the last time Bama was ranked outside the top 10 in the preseason
Well,
poll?
like last season, I'm looking at Alabama's ranking for 2024. Like we weren't in the top three. Like it was just like good grief. But I'm like, you know what? I'm okay with that. We were still in the top five, but I really didn't
Hmm.
care what ranking Alabama was not in the 2008, as far as I recall, we were
Hmm.
24th in
Hmm.
the preseason rankings.
Hmm.
2009, Alabama for the preseason, we were in number 5. So like '08 was
Hmm.
that last time we were outside the top 10.
Hmm. Well, that's the thing too, Jackson. Bama, we're typically used to seeing them in the top five. You this new era, I still think number eight's a huge drop off. I know a lot of Bama fans on the Twitter spaces are saying how disrespectful and are getting upset about Bama's ranking, but you got to think though, Jackson, off the season you all had and the two bad losses, I mean, Bama's back down to earth a little bit, like just a little bit. Even you, Jackson, that this is no longer Nick Saban's Bama. This is Kalen DeBoer Bama team. That 9-3 seasons and 10-2s are going to be more likely than ever now, and Bama fans need to get used to seeing. So Bama 8, I have no problem with. LSU and Miami at 9 and 10. Jackson, I know you. Jackson, I know these two probably are what irks you, but LSU at number 9, Jackson, they're always preseason top 15. Even dating back to Ed Ogeron. Now, Brian Kelly's going to have a chance to prove that he's got the ninth best team. As for Miami, ugh, boy, I'll let you
Overhyped. I mean, it's like we don't
take
care
it
that
away.
you did great in the '80s. Like we don't care that Miami did great in the '80s. We want to know what they're doing today, what they're doing this year. Honestly,
Hmm.
I'm just not. They
Hmm.
pissed away a shot at going to the ACC title game last year, and I don't know why, but I got this feeling Miami is going to win a big game, and then they're going
Hmm.
to lose a game that they shouldn't, like they have been the last few years. That's just typical Mario Cristobal.
Hmm.
It's just that way. I mean,
Hmm.
Miami, but we're gonna wait and see what happens with Miami Notre Dame on week 1. But get this. So we're
Hmm.
having not one, not two, but 3 top 10 matchups in week 1. How cool is
Hmm.
that? We're getting spoiled over here.
That's pretty cool, Jackson. And it's nice to see it because like I get cupcake week's a thing, but I'm glad that we are getting some top 10 games to enjoy during week 1, and it's not just like a welcome back to school. You know how when you used to go back to school and the first couple days are like to get to know you, a little bit about me and get to know about the class. That's what Cupcake Week feels like. If they were to do it in week 1, like, oh, let's get to meet Georgia, let's get to meet Clemson. But instead, it's just like they're putting them straight to the test to begin with. I like it, quizzing them right away. But like you said, Jackson, kind of spoiling us a little bit, just a little bit. Um, Oregon, Notre Dame at 6 and 7. Touch on that real fast. Do you have a problem with either of them being in the top 10, Jackson?
Oregon, now. Notre Dame, now.
Okay. I didn't think any objections. I don't mind it. I
Uh,
I didn't think you'd have any objections, but I did want to ask. Oregon, they are getting hit with the injury bug a little left and right, so they may take a step back, but I think they're preseason top 10. Now here's where we get into the meat of the matter. Arizona State at 11, Illinois at 12, South Carolina at 13, Michigan at 14, Florida at 15. This row right here, Jackson, 11 to 15. This is like the island of misfit toys. What in the world? I'm not very confident that these will be that out of these five here. I don't know how many of them are still going to be in the top 15 when it's all said and done. But go ahead.
Well, I mean, like Arizona State, you got Sam Leavitt returning, so that's gonna be fun. But just because somebody's picked first place in the Big 12 does not mean they're coming back to the Big 12 title game. I mean, have we not learned anything from last year, ladies and gentlemen? Like, just because you're picked first does not mean you're automatically first. You could be last. But, as they say, if you ain't first, you're last. But
Mm-hmm.
we'll wait and see how things turn out for the third year of the Kenny Dillingham era. Dilly dilly. And then you got
Mm-hmm.
Illinois at 12. I mean, I heard this crap that people have called them the Nets Indiana. Like teams that are the Nets Indiana, in my opinion, have a losing record in the previous season. That's
Mm-hmm.
not that it's not how things work. People that say that shit, they're out of their minds. It's like
Mm-hmm.
Illinois had a 10-3 season last year. And plus, I want to see if Illinois can handle being in the top 12 because because like Illinois is just disappointing everybody every time they're ranked really high. That's something we've seen thus far with Brett Bielema. Nothing against
Mm-hmm.
Bielema. He's a great dude. He's a great coach. I think it's funny
Mm-hmm.
they looks like Butthead for Beavis and Butthead. Matter of fact, the older version of Butthead. But still, I want to see what Illinois can bring. And we got a yo from Traveling Fools and a yo to you too, Traveling Fools. Thank you for tuning in on tonight's live stream from Jackson Johnson and Sports Talk with Austin.
And traveling fools, I hate to tell you this. Well, I don't hate to tell you. I just like to tell you. Miami's not number one. See, I understand you think Miami's going to win it all and go undefeated, but even the AP
Uh,
poll has even told you that Miami's not the best team in college football. Love and respect you, Mr. Fools, but Miami's not number one. And I can't wait for Louisville to play Miami this year, Mr. Fools. We gonna come down to Miami.
oh yeah.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yep.
But
Oh man.
I will say this though, Jackson. Illinois and South Carolina. I, is it just me, Jackson? Are these the two teams that are getting a little too much attention for unproven coaches? Is it just me, or do you feel the same way?
I'm gonna wait and see Mo South Carolina. I mean, they could be a 10-win team, but they could be an 8-win team. I don't know what the heck is going on with that South Carolina team, but we're gonna wait and see.
Mm-hmm.
Michigan is hoping Bryce Underwood is the answer for everything in Ann Arbor. I hope
Mm-hmm.
that Michigan could have a really good season, but I mean, like the schedule looks really good on their end. Looks really
Mm-hmm.
good. But the fact
Mm-hmm.
is, the quarterback play was a disaster last season.
Mm-hmm.
Is the quarterback play going up this season? It's a little better, but
Mm-hmm.
all you gotta
Mm-hmm.
make sure is be ready. Be
Mm-hmm.
ready.
And Scotty B says Florida is too high. That was a lot of complaint I seen today, Jackson. Is a lot of people are very skeptical on Florida. Do you, Jackson, believe Florida is a top 15 team? And the big key with this is
Yeah.
can DJ Lagway stay healthy? Because if he's healthy, then you have a chance. But
I was I was thinking Florida was gonna be 18th or 19th at the very least. But
mm-hmm,
it's not like
mm-hmm,
that.
mm-hmm. And it's one of them. Okay, listen here, traveling fools. That's not a bad take. That's not a bad take. Listen. Anywho, go ahead, Jackson. Traveling
Yeah,
fools
don't
over
don't they're just kidding with you out of love, man. No worries.
here. And Scotty B says, believe it or not, DJ Lagway is a Baylor legacy. His dad played at
Yes.
Baylor. I did not know that. Okay, the more you know. So my question is, why didn't he go to Baylor then if his dad played there? That's interesting.
I guess he liked the sun. I don't
I,
think. I guess he didn't like the Texas Trail, but to each their own, I guess. But
but yeah, And this is interesting. Scotty B also says Oklahoma is too high. See, pull it up here. He says Oklahoma's too high. And we're going to get to this next row here. Jackson, that was my biggest gripe with this one. Is what's the hype with Oklahoma all of a sudden? I understand they're a blue blood to a lot of people, but they are coming off a really really we're doing this, traveling fools. Really,
Oh,
Jackson,
sorry, man. Sorry.
Jackson.
Sorry. Back to
Anywho,
your point.
Jackson.
Back to your point.
Yep, yep. Back to my point. I'm gonna ignore that. He's just hating because Louisville's the best in the ACC. Anywho, it's all love. It's all love. But what is it about Oklahoma? Do they not know, Jackson, that Kyler Murray and Lincoln Riley are not going to be on that field this year? Like, what is it? Help
Well,
me
they're
out here,
impressed
Jack.
with the new offensive additions like Jaden Ott and John Mateer, and you got offensive coordinator Ben Arbuckle like coming in. So
But that's enough to win someone over. We haven't seen the offense yet.
I mean, we've seen Jaden Ott at Cal. We've
Yes, but
seen
we haven't
John
seen him.
Mateer at Washington State.
But we
They're
haven't
ready
seen
for a
him.
new chapter in Norman.
Listen, we haven't seen him in Ben Arbuckle's offense yet. Well, we have Mateer, but we don't know how Ott's going to pair with it. I'm just saying. The thing is with Oklahoma, they're coming off a 6-6 season, and their best win was over Alabama. And I just feel like they're getting hyped a little too much for my liking. I kind of like I I don't know. I'm not buying it. If they beat Michigan, then I might buy some stock. But for right now, I don't like this. I don't. I wouldn't say they're top 20. It's just I don't know, Jackson. Go ahead, talk me off the ledge.
I mean, Phil still has them as the number one surprise team for 2025. And Phil still is usually right about this stuff 90% of the time. And I can tell you right now, when making sure you've got your predictions right, always consider what Phil still has to say.
And here's the thing: Scotty B says Mateer height, but here's the thing: he played against a Mountain West schedule mostly. And seeing, I understand the Mountain West, is UNLV and Boise, and I understand that. But I don't know. Jackson was pretty high on Mateer. I was one. I had him on my honorable mention, I believe. I just don't know if I can buy it. But and Dave's here says Lee, seriously though, this year's Michigan's defense and no offense and beat Bama. Why don't you respect them more than when you think Bama should be higher than 8? What do you think, Jackson?
Care where you're ranked in the preseason, honestly. It's all about what you're doing in the regular season. But, you know, we're like some people, they're like, oh, well, Paul should be at week 4. Paul should be at me. I don't care. We like having something to talk about with all of you. We love having something to talk about with all of you, ladies and gentlemen.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
And
agree. I couldn't agree more, Scotty B.
this
Like
is
that's the thing
Jackson.
about yeah,
Mm-hmm.
because
Go
like
ahead.
A&M, they're always expected to win the SEC. They're always expected to have a 10-win season. Oh, they had that one great year with Johnny Manziel in 2012. Oh, they went 9-1 in 2020 in the COVID year.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, that's it. That is it. They have
Mm-hmm.
not beaten LSU in Baton Rouge since they joined the SEC. Yes, they've beaten LSU, but all the wins against them have been in College Station. They've not beaten LSU in Baton Rouge. Now they can do that this season. Then they're shedding that label that they're overhyped. That's
Mm-hmm.
what they're doing by doing that.
And what I want to say to that too is for Texas A&M, Jackson. I mean, This is no longer Jimbo Fisher, Texas A&M, for context. So maybe Mike Elko can get them to 9, 10 win seasons, and maybe they can get something cooking. And I know they need to beat LSU and Baton Rouge to kind of shed the whole overhyped skin of it. I understand that. It's gonna be interesting. Um, Kansas State, SMU, Jackson in 16-17. Do you have a problem with either one of them?
No issue.
And then you got Indiana at 20. Now, what do you think about that, Jackson? Some people said it's
They're just
disrespectful, and
happy to
others
be there.
said,
They're happy to be there because it's like they didn't anticipate something like this last year. They didn't anticipate having the season they had last year. Kirk Cincinnati is getting things going for Indiana, but I think we're going to learn quite a lot about the Hoosiers in weeks 4 and 5 against the Illinois Fighting Illini and the Iowa Hawkeyes. That is for
Mhm,
sure, especially when you got to go to Kinnick Stadium on September
mhm,
27th. All eyes are on Alabama, Georgia, and Penn State and Oregon, but some eyes should definitely be on Iowa, Indiana for week 5.
mhm.
And let's
And
talk
here,
about the Ole Miss Rebels, Austin. Like, how are you feeling
yeah,
about them being at 21?
yeah, I honestly think Jackson, I, I know they lost a lot. Obviously with Dart getting drafted to the Giants, which good luck, Jackson Dart. You're gonna need it. Oh Lord. Poor guy. But I digress. Um, so here's the thing, Jackson. Are you surprised Ole Miss fell this far? Because a lot of people predicted them to be top 15 when they were predicting these preseason polls. Some even had them in the top 10. Are you surprised Ole Miss fell this far after all they lost? No. I
We're
mean,
going to learn a lot about Ole Miss come 2 and 3 when they go against
mhm,
Kentucky and Arkansas, and week 4 against Tulane. That's going to be a good one
mhm.
right there.
And Scotty B says, I think it is better than the coaches poll on Ole Miss. Okay. Okay. Scotty B likes this a little bit better. I mean, here's the thing, Jackson. They lost Dart, obviously. Juice Wells, I believe he's gone. They're replacing a lot on the defensive side of the ball. I, Ole Miss for me is 50-50. If they can beat LSU, then in in week 5, then we'll talk about it. Iowa State, Jackson, and Texas Tech, two Big 12 teams at 22 and 23. Iowa State, I got no problem with. Rocco Beck's back, but Iowa State also has to replace their top 3 wide receivers from last year, including their number 1 receiver, who I believe was like second or third in yards total in the Big 12. Texas Tech at 23. Um, as you said before we came on the air, Jackson, people think Texas Tech is overhyped again.
Oh,
So,
they are.
um, if you want to elaborate on that, go for it. I know you and Texas Tech
Well,
have a.
Texas Tech, yeah, they're like the Big 12 equivalent of Texas A&M. Everybody talks about Texas Tech this, Texas Tech that, but they're way too overhyped. There's so much
Mm-hmm,
money and they do jack with it.
mm-hmm. And Scotty B says Iowa State may be undervalued. Well, and when me and Jackson did our our predictions, me and Jackson both thought very highly of Iowa State, and so we don't think they're undervalued. I had Iowa State in the Big 12 championship. No, or Jackson did. Jackson did, I think. Jackson did. But we had them finishing top 3 and finishing with like 9, 10 wins, both of us. We actually think pretty highly of them. I know, like you said, some people do undervalue them. I think Iowa State could be a dark horse if they do win the Big 12 to maybe make us scare in the playoffs. But And here you go, Jackson. Jerry Maguire is 6-10 on the road in his time as the head coach.
Eh,
Not Jerry,
Joey
Joey.
Maguire. Yeah.
I'm so sorry. I don't know why I call him Jerry. Joey. But and Dog in DC says everyone in Texas Tech has the Raider rash. Oh gosh. And Dave says Tennessee and Ole Miss 8-4 at best. Um, I could see Tennessee going 9-3. Uh, their schedule didn't end up on them that bad. Um, didn't end up on them that bad. And Dave's here said this is a year we will know about most top teams by week 3. What do you think about that, Jackson? Do you agree with that?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Agreed. I love what Dog at DC is saying. He said, "Everyone like and subscribe, or else." But
Exactly.
but in all seriousness, always comment, subscribe, click on notification bell to each the channel so you never miss another video whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
Alrighty, so yeah,
Oh,
McGuire's a disaster.
mm-hmm.
I think he's overhyped, and this is the year where he puts up or shuts up.
Mm-hmm. And B Bean is here as well. He says Matt Campbell's best teams are in the past. Wow. 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 Wow.
Wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say that.
Okay. B Bean is not liking where Iowa State's going. And Scotty B says Boise State is about right. Yeah, Jackson. Before we get to Tennessee, I'm actually pleasantly surprised, Jackson. They gave Boise State, a non-power 4 team, a little love in the poll. I, like Jackson, what do you think about that? That Boise State and Spencer Danielson earned some respect. What do you think about that?
That sounds pretty good, man. Like,
I, I mean, here's the thing too, Jackson.
love it.
And
What's up, Randy Anderson? Tuning in,
what's
good
up?
buddy.
Thank you for tuning in. He says, "Hey guys, welcome in. Welcome, welcome, welcome. All is welcome here, Mr. Randy. Thank you for being here." And Doggy DC D says Iowa will swap places with Michigan in the rankings by the end of the year. First time in almost a decade they've had a legit quarterback. Okay. What do you think about that, Jackson? Iowa in the top 15.
We'll wait and see.
And Scotty B says, I know the Boise State 8. Oh, wow. You
Yeah,
know
like
pretty powerful.
Boise State's in their final year of the Mount West this year. They're going to be joining the Pac-12 next year, although it's kind of like a watered down version. But
Hmm.
it's like,
He knows a pretty powerful person. Dave Valinsky says there's going to have to be at least one Power 5 team in the playoffs. Boise historically good and has the brand name True. B being over here, Kurt Ferentz's best teams are in the past. Well, and Randy Anderson says I missed a good bit of this live stream, but what is the general consensus of the top 25? I'm okay with it. I don't mind it.
I'm all
It's
right
the
with
first.
it. I just want to know who's the team that's going to be overhyped in the top 10 later this year. I feel like it's going to be LSU and Miami.
Mm-hmm.
But Austin, did you give your thoughts on which of the top 10 teams are the most overhyped?
Um, I think as much as I don't like to say it, this isn't Trevor Lawrence, Deshaun Watson, Clemson. Um, I think Notre Dame might be a little overhyped. Um, I think Notre Dame might return to their 9-3, 8-4 form. Could possibly be that. Could Miami or LSU be overhyped? Absolutely. I know that's a possibility. But as far as the top 25 goes, and, and Scotty B agrees the Hurricanes are overhyped in the top 10. Um, Overall, I don't mind it. I, I don't mind the top 25. I think this is about as good as listed as we could have got, I think. I mean, Tennessee is 24. Some people may say that's a little low, but Jackson, would they have been in the top 15 if Nico hadn't left?
Yeah, but I don't really trust Nico's judgment skills.
Mm-hmm. And Randy Anderson says, I'm a little biased, but I think Bama will be better than what a lot of people think. Um, I predicted Bama to go 9-3. Jackson, you predicted him to go 10-2.
Hmm?
So it, it's interesting. And Dave's here says, I think OSU, which is Ohio State, only has 3 possibly losable games realistically, and it's a 10+ win season, more than likely undefeated than 9 wins as I see it. Yeah, I think I could see that. And Scotty B says Tennessee lost more guys than just Nico. He did, but Nico's the big glaring one. The defense I know for Tennessee took a big hit with Pierce gone. With Pierce was the big one that left on the defense. They lost their receivers as well. So, and he says I think 10-2 or 11-1. I mean, it's all very interesting. But yes, Tennessee. A lot of their defense production, Scotty B, I think what's going to hurt them more than just Nico. And Steven says Matt Campbell, younger version of Ferentz. Oh Lord, don't start that, Steven. We don't need that. Come on now.
Well, it could be true. Possibility.
Hey, it could be, but what did Matt Campbell do to you?
He does kind of look like Adam Sandler, though.
B Bean says Ohio State has a 3-game schedule. I mean, I'll say this. I think Ohio State can go at Washington and lose that game. I said that to Jackson on air. I think that's a possibility, especially if it's tonight, Husky Stadium. I could see an upset. I really do. But let me ask you this, though, Jackson. Before we put the call-in link out and let the viewers come in and talk about this, looking at this overall, when it's all said and done, Jackson, who in your opinion will be, when it's all said and done, who do you think is going to be number one?
Good
Do you think
question.
do you think Texas will be number one when it's all said and done?
No. No.
Mm. I'm gonna say horns down. Georgia could be number one when it's all said and done. If
None of them, B Bean. None of them. Nobody's going 13-0. Like, nobody is. You're not going to see a team finish season unbeaten like last season. That's not going to happen. You're not seeing anybody go 16-0 in college football. That's just not happening. Nobody is.
okay, so if we have to
Oh
pick
God.
one,
Clemson,
here's
I'd say.
Clemson.
I didn't say
Penn.
they would be going 13-0. I'd say they're the most likely.
Um, I'll say Penn State because their schedule's not that bad, and if they could beat Ohio State,
They can't beat Ohio State.
no, that's why I said if they could beat Ohio State the rest of the way, I mean they've got Oregon. If they can win those 2 games, I, I think Penn State
I
will be
think
the
I
most
think
likely.
Kate the Diesel Freak's gonna be there to put his boot out on Penn State, but
Interesting picks. Let me ask you, Jackson, out of this top 25, who's most likely to miss a bowl game? You always have one. I don't like saying it, but I don't like saying it.
that's
But Texas Tech.
oh, I'm right there with you. Test Tech. You just made it easy for me, man.
Uh, and Randy Anderson says, I was thinking maybe Penn State might be the most likely going to defeat. Yeah, because if you look at their schedule, which me and Jackson did, they've got Oregon at home and at Ohio State. If they can get past those two, which the Oregon games will be white out at night, which is in their favor big time, they've got a cakewalk to get there. Like Texas, they've got to play Georgia. They got to play Ohio State. They've got to play Oklahoma. And if Oklahoma's as good as their ranking says they are, that could be a troublesome game. And Dave here says half of these teams won't be in the top 25. Interesting. So let me ask you, Dave, what half do you think won't be there? The top half or the bottom half? And B being puts in the Penn State schedule, which their non-con, let's be honest, sucks. Like, don't get Jackson started; he'll start cussing up a storm. Like,
I pretty much I'm at the acceptance stage over that at this point. So it's like it is what it is.
mm-hmm. A small
Well,
town Republican says, "I bet Oklahoma has an 8-4 type here." Okay, okay. I had Oklahoma going 7-5. I had 7-5, and Dave here says that that at UCLA game from Penn State is a killer. Yeah, going to the West Coast, especially if it's late at night. Yep, I could see it. Yep. I very well could see it. But go ahead, Jack. Go ahead.
I mean, honestly, I'm just we're gonna wait and see what happens with everybody. But there's always gonna be that one team that surprisingly ends the season in top 25. I think
Oh
Georgia
God.
Tech's gonna end the season in the top 25. I mean, that's obvious. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
obvious. I think Nebraska can, but who are your two teams that can end the season in the top 25? And then we will take your calls.
Um, Louisville, I think could. And I know that might be being a little biased with the Louisville on tonight.
It's okay to be a
Um,
little biased, Austin. No worries. I'm
I
biased
think
too.
we everyone's a little biased. I think deep down. I think Louisville could if we win against Miami, Clemson, SMU. If we win 2 out of those 3, I think we can end up here. Nebraska. I could see if they put a string together, maybe Auburn. If Auburn puts it together, really, really, Bean, really,
It's all right. It's all right, man.
is he is he going to be the PI to save people in his
The
spare time?
oh, I'm sure. I'm sure. Private
What's
oh,
PI?
pass interference, private investigator. What's it standing for exactly? Dave's here.
Yes. Um, you're good, B Bean. It's all fine. We all have Homer. Oh boy, here we go again. Oh my
Here we go.
gosh.
So we're putting in the call-in link for the chat, but we're gonna do a 5 minutes a call for each caller.
Yes.
This way, everybody
And
gets their turn.
yes, everyone needs a turn. We
There
want to
we
hear.
go. And we
Everyone
got the
wants to.
biggest hellraiser on the planet, Caden the Diesel Freak.
And he left.
Oh,
But
oh no. Why did it ban? Oh, come on, StreamYard. Don't be messing with us.
but I will say this though.
We were literally, come on, StreamYard. It was,
But
ugh.
I will say this though. No Jackson. I mean, here's the thing. People are questioning the Oklahoma, right? Um, I, I mean, other than that Jackson, what would you have changed? Let me ask you this while we wait for another call. What would you have changed? Is there any team you would have swapped out?
Oh, I just swapped out LSU and Miami for, hmm. I guess I put it, I would put, hmm, say, I'd put Kansas State in that top 10.
Okay.
Then I'd
I
put
like.
Michigan in that top 10.
Okay, Jackson. I like it. You're a little ballsy. I like it. Okay. Jackson's got. Okay. I
There
wasn't
we go.
expecting Kansas State. Um.
Okay.
I
Caden, Caden and everybody else in the call in section, no worries. We are getting this thing figured out. Hold on, man. How you doing tonight? Ah, damn it.
he left again, but
Um, it's like randomly doing that. It's like, come on.
and B Bean so kindly puts the Michigan schedule up, which they play New Mexico. I mean, this isn't your grandfather's New Mexico. I mean, Lord have mercy. Lord have
Okay.
mercy, but I will say this though, Jackson. I mean, is that yeah, they what in the world? And B Bean says, I'm not sure I agree with Jackson's Michigan take, but I think Michigan beats Ohio State. Okay, but Bean, he's going to get someone started here in a second with that comment. Wow. Okay. Because most Ohio State fans are thinking this is their year. So I'm going to be interested to see if that does take place. But let's see here.
Okay.
What in the world? But what I will say is, though, Jackson, while we were fixing this, would you like to look at the coaches poll
Absolutely.
while we fix this?
Absolutely.
Let's take a look at this
Yeah.
coaches poll.
It's pulling. Oh, crap.
Let's look at the coaches poll, and hopefully it'll fix itself. Hold on. Coaches poll. We're doing this on the fly. We're going to look at this, and then we're going to compare. Hold on.
Huh?
Let's see.
Oh,
Gonna compare the coaches poll to the EP, and you all let us know which one you think's better. Do this on the fly here. Here we go. Here we go. Present. Okay. Coaches poll. Here we go. Here we go. Coaches poll. Coaches poll. Coaches poll. Coaches poll. Coaches poll. And coaches poll at Texas at number one too, which I will zoom in on here in just a second so you all get a better view while Jackson is fixing that. There we go. Okay. Let's make sure we can see this. Number one, they've got Texas. Number two, they got Ohio State. Number three, they got Penn State. Number four, they got Georgia. 5 is Georgia. 6 is Clemson. 7 is Georgia. Bama's at 8. LSU at 9. Miami's at 10. And you kind of see going down through Tennessee and Florida at 17, 18. Ole Miss is in the top 15, like I mentioned. So the coaches are very high on Ole Miss. So that to me says a lot. Indiana 19, Kansas State at 20. Coaches not very high on them, and you kind of go down through here. Texas Tech, BYU, and you see the other receiving votes: Oklahoma, Missouri. So, what do you all think in the chat about the coaches ruling Oklahoma out? The AP voters like Oklahoma. And what do you all think of the coaches? Do you like the coaches better or do you like the AP better? Like, what do you think, Jackson? Do you like this one better or do you think the AP poll got it right more?
either one's all right with me. I really don't care. I mean, they both got Bama at 8, so it's like.
That's true. That is true. I
And,
mean,
and they both have LSU and Miami at 9 and 10.
they got the top 13 except for a couple flipped
Well, they
almost
got
exactly.
Ole Miss at 15, and the AP's got Ole Miss at 21. They,
Hmm.
yeah.
And B Bean says, I think I am still the only one who thinks Arch will be a bust. Um, and B Bean says Oklahoma will get maybe 7 wins. Um, yeah, Oklahoma's one of them. I think at the end of the year, we're gonna find out a lot about them because Oklahoma if Oklahoma doesn't win 8 games, Brent Bielema might get fired, which to me sucks because I think he's a great head coach, especially a great defensive coordinator. It sucks, but that's what happens when you're a head coach. I mean, if Mississippi State doesn't make a bowl game, Jeff Libby might be on the hot seat at Mississippi State. That tells you we'll be in a coaches in 2025, guys. Like, seriously.
But you
I
don't want to
mean,
be an SEC coach.
oh, yeah. I mean, because the SEC, they'll throw you out faster than you can realize. I mean, let's not even kid ourselves. I mean, Jeff Libby, who I think is a very good head coach, and they're ready to throw him out and chew him out like a chicken nugget, as good buddy Jack would say. So it's all very interesting, to say the least. Going down through here, Indiana at 19. I mean, here's the thing, Jack. What more do you think Indiana's got to do to earn some respect?
Um, they probably need to have a tougher non-con game on their schedule for people to kind of leave them alone. But
Uh-huh.
I don't think they really care.
Well, let me add. Well, Jackson, Kennesaw State now, Jackson, that's a powerhouse, don't you know? I mean, the vaunted Kennesaw State. I mean, that's powerful. But I will say this, though, Jackson. I mean, looking at both of these, I think the coaches poll might have got it right. What do you think about this, Jackson? BYU. The coaches are putting a little more respect on BYU. What do you think about that?
Oh, they like BYU. AP poll doesn't, I guess.
Mm-hmm. And it's just one of the things too, Jackson. It's just
Well,
I
we are
get the
sorry
BYU.
about the call about StreamYard doing the mess around on the call-in stream tonight. No worries, we are getting it. We are fixing it.
We are fixing it. Eventually, we will fix it, and it'll be all better. But as the old saying goes, we're live, pal. So we're getting it done. So with that
Okay,
being
let's
said,
see if we can finally bring you on, Cade. Here we go. What's up, man?
Oh my gosh, why should
Ah, man.
apparently StreamYard doesn't want to hear from him. Okay,
Caden, try see if you can call him from another thing.
but with that being said, though, Jackson, like I'll say this too, looking at this, you got any other thoughts, Jackson?
No, it's just I've noticed that the coaches poll and the AP poll both have Boise State at 25, but
Uh-huh.
coach is a little higher on Tennessee than the AP is.
And that's very true. And the thing about it too is, Jackson, is just one of them things is just I'm do you think Boise State will be ranked when this is all said and done? Or do you think they're
Yes.
living off last year?
Yes, they will be. Spencer Danielson is the next Chris Peterson for Boise State.
Okay. And here's the thing, Jackson. Looking at these other receiving votes, you've got Oklahoma, Missouri, Louisville, SC, Utah, Baylor. So, Scotty B, if you're still here, Baylor's getting some love. Auburn, Iowa. Heck, Vanderbilt, Minnesota, they're getting love. Minnesota Dave, if you're here, they're getting some love too. So the coaches have got a lot of love. So maybe the coaches aren't as far off as we thought. What do you think, Jackson? Other than maybe Oklahoma. And BB says, is the non-P4 in the polls based on knowing a non-P4 must be in the playoffs?
I think there's more love for Boise State, but that's it, really.
Yeah, I don't think it's that way. I know the playoff format's that way, but I think top 25 they're just ranking them. I think that's what that is. But I will say this. Looking at this, push the board. Texas won. But look how close it was to Ohio State, Penn State at 2 and 3. Look how close they were to one another. So even the coaches are telling you it's a close call.
Mm-hmm.
But I will say this though, good buddy. Buddy, if no one else wants to call crap, wrong button. Anything you want to add to this, Jackson?
Nah. I'm just ready for the playoff rankings now.
Jackson, we got 12 weeks to wait for that.
I know.
Lord have mercy, Jackson. You're already talking about the playoffs. Playoffs? I just want to win a game.
Well, Coach Poll gonna have a game of the century for Texas, Ohio State, and AP polls deciding no, we're gonna have a 1-3 game.
And B Bean says, I think Penn State, Ohio State is a helmet game. Penn State cannot. Penn State can't get past Ohio State. Period. That's the thing. Penn State just can't beat Ohio State. It don't matter if it's a helmet game, all you can eat hot dog day at the vendor, free jersey day, whiteout, blackout, purple out. Penn State just can't beat Ohio State. It's just proven fact. You could put Jackson and me quarterback at Ohio State, and we would still Ohio State. They would still lose. And look at me and Jackson. We're like look at us. We're two guys out in the country who probably can't even throw a football 50 yards, and we'd still somehow beat them. Like, that tells you the psychological mind games to that game is unreal. And the psychological barrier is too great. Oh my God. And Dave Winston says, I also think Penn State doesn't have a very good record against Michigan last. No, they can't beat Michigan either. I don't think they beat Michigan in almost 5 years. Like, if you're a good to great team, Penn State cannot beat you. So if you're Ohio State, Michigan, or a team like Oregon or a team like Notre Dame, they can't beat you for whatever reason. But if you're a Minnesota, if you're a Iowa, if you're a Purdue or a USC, they'll beat you up just fine and walk over you. But if you're a team with a pulse, that's true. Georgia has trouble beating Bama as well. As Randy Anderson says, exactly. And yes, they do not play Michigan. Penn State cannot beat Michigan, is what Dave is saying. But with that being said, though, we do have another caller. He's a great friend of the show. He's always welcome. Even though he wears that ugly Kentucky blue, we still love him anyway. He's a legendary caller, the real MVP.
Here we go.
Hello, gentlemen. How are you this evening?
Pretty good, pretty good. How are you, Daryl?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. Well, these rankings everyone tells me are completely meaningless and they don't matter and we should abolish them. Yet those exact same people are going to get upset because there's some conspiracy theory against their team or their conference, or some conspiracy theory in favor of another team in another conference. So it's interesting to me, how people are.
Mm-hmm. Well, and here's the thing too, Daryl. It's just like, once again, it's one of them is if Ohio State beats Texas week 1, then the Big Ten is going to shout above their lungs that they're better than the SEC and that Texas never deserved to be number 1, or vice
Yeah,
versa.
that's
It's just
stupid. Whoever loses this game, we got
mm-hmm,
31 points. That proves nothing. Look at Oregon last year. I mean, they were the unanimous number 1 team, and they got killed by Ohio State. I mean, Puddles, man, I
mm-hmm,
still think Puddles, you could see remnants of him in the Rose Bowl stadium. You look close enough. I mean, it was bad. But
mm-hmm.
one game isn't determining who's better. And honestly, I hate to say this, but with this new, well, Austin, you're a Cowboys fan, so actually you might not know. That might be a presumption. Us elite teams in the NFL, you save some of your stuff for the postseason. And if you're a Texas fan or Ohio State fan, I wouldn't throw out the trick plays because you're going to beat up on your Mississippi States and Illinois and Vanderbilts and Minnesotas of the world. So
Mm-hmm.
what forget for going all out, winning the game by field goal, everybody's happy, and then you're the number 1 seed, and instead of what? In the third round of the playoffs, you're playing the 4 or 5 seed instead of the 3-6 matchup. I mean, is it that much of a gap?
Uh-huh.
I don't think it's justifiable to say, oh my gosh, I got to go all out to win this game, personally. And I hate saying this, by the way, as a college football fan. I believe all regular season games should matter going forward. But, we expanded the playoffs to the point where these type of discussions have to be had.
Mm-hmm. Well, what I will say in argument of that, Daryl, is when you play in the Big Ten SEC, though, here's the disadvantage. A loss like this could hurt you. And what I mean by that is look at LSU, for example, right? They lost the opener to SC, and they ended up finishing with 4 losses. But by the time they got to Bama, the Bama game, that was an elimination game. So that's where I kind of see the point of, okay, this is still a meaningful game in some way. Not as meaningful as it would be if it would have been just a 4-team playoff, if you know what I mean, Daryl.
Right, but my point is if the loser of this game is nowhere close to being out.
No.
LSU Clemson is far more an important week 1 game because LSU is a border team to, they're on the borderline of making the playoffs. Your Florida Tennessees, your Illinois Indiana, those games have far more stakes going forward than this Texas Ohio State game. Perfect example, Michigan. Like if this game was Michigan Oklahoma, I'd be right there with you, Austin, because those are both teams I could see going 9-3 and having a weaker schedule. They should be out. But with the Texas Ohio State, it's like, man, Texas is 10-2. Who'd they lose to? Man, they lost to Ohio State by 7 points. Who's going to say, man, that's a horrible loss? That's probably the best loss of the entire season. And vice versa for Ohio State. You lost to Texas? I mean, if it's the other way around. So I just don't see that argument holding validity because of how elite these two teams are.
Mm-hmm. And here's the thing, too, though, Daryl. Let me ask you something. Let's just say we'll use Ohio State and stay. Let's say they lose this game, right? And then they lose to Washington. Could it mean something when they play Penn State or Michigan?
I mean, it could, but the first time Ohio State loses to Washington will be the first time it happens for a reason. I mean, Ohio State's got to lose to a cupcake team, and by that, for Cupcake Ohio State, a team that's not ranked inside the top 5, for me to see they can actually lose to that. I'm literally counting your Iowas, Wisconsins, Minnesotas, Washingtons, all as wins. Unless you are an 8-4 team named Michigan, I'm going to count you as an automatic win. Because they've proven over this half decade They don't lose to those teams ever. So why should I expect them to lose to those teams? I just reject the premise and hypothesis in total.
Now, what I will put back on Darrell, and this is what's great about this, is we all remember 2018 against Purdue, right? That was another game. Now, I know you say that's one time in how many tries, but it is important to bring up. All it takes is one time. One time. That would be my pushback on that.
Okay, let's say that's true. That
Okay.
happens. They lose to Texas, and they lose a miracle game to Purdue or Minnesota or some other school. They
Mhm.
still got to lose another game.
So you think 9-3 Ohio State should be in the field?
Well, I'm saying it's 9-2 or an 8-2 Ohio State going into Penn State. Ohio State can easily win that game.
Yes. I'm not
Just
disagreeing
because
with you on that.
if they lose 3 games, there's
Mhm.
a legitimate argument they should be in the playoffs. You're telling me they lose to the number 1 and number 2 team in the country, let's say by 3 points, and that
Mhm.
team shouldn't be in the playoffs?
Mhm.
I mean, you're going to have multiple teams with 2 losses that have a far worse resume
Mhm.
than the Ohio State Buckeyes.
I got you. So let me ask you this then. What if we flip that then? Would Texas be any different? Because
Yeah, Texas would be different because they're playing a worse schedule.
okay. So if Texas goes 9-3, there's a better chance of them missing out than Ohio State.
Correct. Because they play more of your Mississippi. They don't play the top of the SEC. I think the only top SEC teams in terms of the top is Georgia. And there's like a steep drop off. Vanderbilt was probably their best win last year. Total.
Yeah. Let that sink in for a minute. Vanderbilt is Texas's best win. Wow. Anywho.
Yes, but that goes to the point I'm making. When you go in your room and say, who's your best win? Vanderbilt? Listen, Vanderbilt's a solid team. I believe last year they're one of the 2025 best teams in the country. Put them in Indiana's shoes. They play a game. I don't know who wins that game. Vanderbilt has a strong, legitimate case to win that game. But is that such a good win that should completely erase going 9-3? No. This needs to be done on a case by case basis. And this is the nuance that we as a society have just lost in large. It's like, well, you're an SEC. You play 3 cupcakes. Therefore, if you go 9-3, you're automatically eliminated. And then you got some hardcore SEC fans that, wait, y'all play only in the SEC? You play in the SEC? If you're not 3, you always should have a chance. No. There's a happy medium in this. You got to look at it schedule by schedule. Now, look at Florida's schedule, for example. Florida goes 9-3 with their schedule. There's a legitimate case they should be in the playoffs. Have you seen that schedule? Look at Oklahoma as well. You seen that schedule?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, those are 2 of the best schedules in the country.
Yes. And the thing about it, too, is, though, Darrell, is there a case to be made, though? Look, I wanted to bring this up to you. Clemson number 4, right? That's one people point out. Do you legitimately think, Darrell, Clemson's one of the 5 best teams in the country?
Okay, I'm lower on Clemson than I think literally everyone else on planet Earth. I don't think they're making the playoffs this year. I don't see any reason to believe in Cade Klubnik. He hasn't proven anything to me. Dabo Swinney has only gotten worse and worse in my mind since the Trevor Lawrence has left the building. So I think I like Miami. Let's look at their schedule. Sneaky good, tough schedule for an ACC. They play North Carolina, SMU, Louisville, Miami. They also play for an at-large bid. They play Notre Dame, LSU, and they play Duke as well. There are some legit chances of them stumbling a few times if not everything is as right as it seems up in there. And I need to see it to believe it for them. And I hate to say it, I have them being the first team out. So I'm not a believer in them. I don't think they make the ACC championship game.
And the reason why I bring that up, Darrell, is because you talk about going case by case with schedule and talk about important games. I'm not saying LSU Clemson is not an important game. It is. It's very important for both sides. But Clemson has kind of done the ACC a little justice, if you ask me, of scheduling a little bit harder. Because, like you said, they got Notre Dame, LSU, they've got Louisville, SMU, Carolina, Duke. They made it a little more sneakier, where they could say, okay, if we go 9-3, and they could kind of finally they got a brand name and they can match up with.
Yeah, I want to apologize. They don't play Notre Dame this year. I got them and Miami confused. They play South Carolina as usual though, so they play LSU and South Carolina.
But South Carolina's they're ranked in the top 15, so
yeah, they're a legit team.
Right now, that's a marquee game that you want to circle on the calendar. And if they're 9-3 and they don't win the ACC, and they're say against Texas, people may look at that and say, you know what, Clemson, even though you're in the ACC, you scheduled really, really good. You played LSU, you played South Carolina, you played Louisville, who could be in the top 25. You played a sneaky good Duke team. What if North Carolina has a resurgence? Do you think that could ever pop up, Dario, or grasping at straws?
I mean, there's obviously, first off, South Carolina is going to have a massive impact on this because they're an SEC team. I don't know if Texas plays South Carolina this year. I don't think so because I don't remember them playing last year. But
Bama does. Bama plays South Carolina.
Right, but it depends how South Carolina does this season. Is a lot of the crux. It really depends on who Texas beats and who Texas loses to. Like, if they beat Ohio State or Georgia, and they lose a fluke game to some other random 8-4 team,
like Arkansas,
that's going to be tough to get out. Like, if Clemson goes 9-3, who's going to be their best win possible? Like, a Louisville, SMU, Duke. I mean, it's tough. I'm not. It's one of these things where I have to think about and dissect it more. It may be a point margin differential, but if there is a legitimate case for a 9-3 Clemson to get in with their schedule over a 10-2 Texas, absolutely, especially if Texas gets blown out by Georgia and Ohio State. The week one game is going to tell us a lot about both the teams. I don't believe, like, if Texas loses to Ohio State by, like, let's say 14 or less, but to me, that was a more legitimate result than 80 to 90% of the wins this college football season. That'll happen across the country. And I think a lot of people don't conceptualize football that way. They just conceptualize the W and L column.
And Dave brings up this point. He says, unless they win the conference, 9-3 is not going to help an ACC school. I think for Clemson, they would be the one that could get away with it. Would you disagree with me on that, Daryl? If Clemson goes 9-3, that they could make a case. But if you're like a Louisville SMU type, then 9-3 would not help a case. What do you think, Daryl?
Yeah, again, it's not. When the college football committee looks at the resumes, they're not looking at a conference. They're looking at a team.
Okay.
So we need to not be looking at it from a granular scale and says, well, this conference is better than this conference or this conference. No, it needs to be individual case-by-case basis. Now, generally, if you want to say generally, the SEC is going to have a much harder schedule than the ACC teams. I grant with that premise 100%. But Clemson is one of the few exceptions this year where it's like, man, they could have a harder schedule than some of these SEC teams.
Well, and one of the things too I want to say to this though, Daryl, is because I do want to get your thoughts on Boise State being in the top 25. What's your thoughts on it? Because that's another controversial. But
I mean, they're just in there because they're a G5 team. The people feel like a G5 team needs to be in there. They were in the playoffs last year. Are they going to make the playoffs? Probably not. Shout out to the Toledo Rockets this year. I think they're going to make the playoffs. I think they're going to go 12-0. Austin, have you seen that Kentucky-Toledo line?
Not yet.
It keeps moving down. It keeps moving. Toledo might be favored by kickoff, man. It's only 8.5-point favorites. It's Kentucky. Like, 8.5 points isn't like this massive Cinderella upset here.
Listen, Daryl, I know you guys. I know you're not very high on Kentucky, but it's just like
neither's Vegas. 8.5 points against Toledo.
I understand, Daryl. I understand, but my goodness, don't you find that a little disrespectful?
Yeah, we got South Dakota as our quarterback. I'd be disrespectful if I was to have that guy as my quarterback. That guy was a bum. That guy got kicked out of the SEC. And now we're reinstituting it back after a okay season at Incarnate Word, an FCS school. I mean, this is a disaster waiting to have all open. Like, it's bad.
When here's the thing, too, Daryl. I understand why you're down on the Cats. I do. But do you not... I just find it hard, Daryl, looking at this and saying Toledo's going to beat Kentucky. I know Toledo is one of the teams that could be sneaky good with Jason Candle. But come on, Daryl, you all have to have a little more pride than that.
I mean, it's 8.5 points, Austin. The numbers are what the numbers are. I mean, there's going to be multiple of those type of teams lose throughout the entire season and week to week. This isn't like it's 21, 48 point. This isn't like Ohio State's playing Purdue and it's a 48-point spread.
But I will say this, though, Daryl. Looking at the AP Top 25, me and Jackson alluded to this, but out of these top 10 teams, Daryl, who's most likely to fall out, in your opinion?
I think it's going to be Oregon. That's who I would have.
Okay. Jackson thinks Miami, if Jackson's still here.
I can see that. Yeah, Miami reminds me a lot of last year's USC team, where their defense they got to improve. I mean, it's hard to imagine they're going to get worse, but let's say they get 10% better. Their offense is probably going to take a 15, 20% dip because Cam Ward was by far the best quarterback in the country last year. And Carson Beck's a good quarterback. He's a great quarterback, even. He's not Cam Ward. He's just not.
I mean, Daryl, and I'm going to say this, and I may get killed for this, but I said Notre Dame.
That's interesting.
And my explaining for it was, I don't know if you caught it or not, I just think Notre Dame with the new quarterback situation, I know CJ Carr, I've heard a lot of good things about him, but I feel like last year was a bit of a fluke. Notre Dame had a lot of things go their way. And I know in football, sometimes that's the way the ball bounces. And I feel like for me, Notre Dame's going to regress back to a 9-3, 8-4 team. Am I being too gun shy?
Well, this is a team that loses to Marshall, Stanford, and NIU. So, this is a team even at their peak of their powers. They still throw an absolute egg out there. Worse than most programs do throughout their entire history. I mean, if they lose to Miami week 1, that'll give me sign of pause. That'll give me some sign of pause. And then, who else do they play on their schedule that's tough?
They play BC. They play Texas A&M, Arkansas, Boise.
Bro, you're not giving me much confidence with that schedule. I'm going to be honest. There's a lot of cupcakes. 9-3 is possible if they lose Miami. It'd probably be Miami, USC, and then what was the third? Not BC. What was the one you said after BC?
Arkansas.
Yeah, they can lose those 3 because Arkansas is they beat Texas a few years ago. They beat Tennessee last year, so they're capable of being that level of team. Is it likely? No. The line of scrimmage for Notre Dame is going to be so much better than Arkansas. It's going to be ridiculous.
And that was, to me, the one team I thought. And that's why it's good to hear that I'm not completely off the bonkers. So let me ask you, Daryl, Oregon, what is it with Oregon that you think? I want to hear your thoughts on that.
Similar to you, it's a bit of a fluke. Last year, at the end of the season, went completely about as bad as possible. Wonder if there's a morale issue. Don't know if DTR is going to do as well as Dylan Gabriel. Their schedule is also tougher than last year's, in my opinion. Like Penn State should beat them, whereas last year, the Ohio State game was the really only automatic L on their schedule. I just don't believe in DTR as much as Dylan Gabriel. And they lost a lot on their team. And it's similar to you where they're kind of a one-hit wonder.
Mm-hmm. And another one coming down, looking through here, Daryl. South Carolina, Illinois. Me and Jackson kind of touched on that, but how do you feel on those two teams? Do you
I mean,
think?
those are 50-50 teams where they'll either be in the playoffs or they'll be completely unranked and wouldn't surprise me.
Mm-hmm.
Those are volatile 6-6 or 10-2 teams right there.
So they have a really, really low floor and a really, really high ceiling, is
Right.
what you're alluding to.
Mm-hmm.
Florida, Daryl, is another big topic of conversation we had. Some people think Florida's overhyped, overrated, and some think Florida could win the SEC. Where do you stand on this?
I'm a little bit in the middle. I don't think they're going to win the SEC, but they'll sniff around that playoff area. They'll be on the bubble the whole season, in my opinion. Their schedule is just so brutal, where it's hard to see them go 10-2.
Mm-hmm.
Like, unfortunately, the playoff committee has shown us if you have 10 wins, you're in. If you have 9 wins, you're out. I hope that changes this year. I think it will, but
Another big
end up replicated. And I know they did well, but man, DJ Lagway is like Anthony Davis on the football field. Every time you go out there, you're like, man, he's going to get injured again. Like it's getting pretty ridiculous. So I'm not confident his health is going to hold for the entire season, unfortunately.
Yeah, and then kind of looking down, Oklahoma drill, that was another one that was brought up and we talked about.
Yeah, I think Oklahoma,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's almost impossible for them to have more injuries than they did last year. I'm still not a believer with all their wide receivers and stuff. They're going to be this good, great, this fantastic team. I mean, they couldn't beat Navy. Like, I know they had 20-some people out, but you're an SEC team. Even if you have 20 guys out, Navy, just the talent gap between you and them is better than 20 deep. Players deep. Like, your second and third stringer should be able to beat them. Notre Dame basically proved that when they crushed both Navy and Army. So, and their quarterback situation, probably one of the worst in the SEC. Head coach is on the hot seat. I'm not a firm believer in them this year at all. Like, they could easily lose to Michigan, and then it goes completely sideways. If they lose that Michigan game, just look at who they play in the SEC teams and think, is this team better than Michigan? The answer is probably not, based on their schedule.
And of course, Daryl, I'm going to bring this up to you, and if Jeffrey was here, he would be doing the same thing. Indiana 20. Of course, people are saying, how dare they disrespect Kurt Signetti? Listen, like, I know you might have a few things to say, Daryl, but here's what I said. Indiana, kind of like Notre Dame and Oregon, in a lot of ways, I think they're a one-hit wonder. They're going to take a big step back, and we're going to come back to reality. Indiana is your 7-4, 8-4 best. I think this was their one magical year. People saying Indiana should be ranked in the top 10 need a reality check quickly.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to pay 1 second attention to Indiana until they play Illinois in week 4 because they've decided to play a bunch of random people on the street, basically. It's the equivalent of talent they're facing. I mean, nobody.
Well, now, you listen to Indiana fans, Kennesaw State is a powerhouse. They've been dominant, if you listen to Indiana fans tell it. But I digress.
Yeah, have you seen their first win? FCS win was like week 8, somewhere around there, was against Liberty. They hadn't won a single game.
It was pitiful, yeah.
Yeah, look at their stadium. Just look at they're just not that good of a program in general.
I'm with you, Daryl, but try talking some sense into these Indiana people. But I will say this, though. Ole Miss, that's another one, Daryl. We looked at the coaches poll a minute ago. The coaches have them in the top 15. The AP poll has them down a little lower. I know Ole Miss lost a lot of people, but do you believe in Lane Kiffin, Daryl?
No. He chokes every big game he's in, basically. Why would I believe a coach that lost to Kentucky last year? But the Kentucky team that was their only win. Why would Ole Miss will lose? They're good enough to beat most of the teams they should, but not all of them. They'll stumble their toe once or twice. And then, if they play in Alabama or something like that, they even beat Georgia last year, was nowhere near that close to the bubble.
Mm-hmm.
That just
Yeah.
tells you how far away they are. Like, they just got to worry on beating everyone they should beat first.
Mm-hmm. Looking at this, though, too, Daryl, Texas Tech. If Jackson will even tell you when he comes back, he does not like Texas Tech being in the top 25. See, there he is.
Well, that's a lot of hype. Texas Tech is receiving a lot of hype because their NIL fund and their collective.
Mm-hmm.
But that's all it is to me, is hype, because the Big 12 is just like a house of cards. You throw one up, you pick one, and this team's the winner. I mean, switch out. Like, the Big 12 teams, I have the most confidence will be different outside of Boise State from this time to the end of the season. Like, it wouldn't shock me if Baylor, Cincinnati, Central Florida, West Virginia was ranked, because they all win 10-2, 9-3, or 8-4. It's a crapshoot league every year. So,
I mean, it's one of them too, Daryl, and I'll let Jackson go on this, but you could tell me that, like you said, Daryl, throw a dartboard at the Big 12. BYU,
There you go.
they're missing from this list, but the coaches have them ranked. Shows you how much parity the Big 12's in. I mean, you've got Utah, BYU, you've got Colorado. You can legitimately make arguments for any one of those teams to be in the top 25. Like you said, Daryl, that's how much parity there is.
Well, the Big 12 is like, they're as wide as an ocean, but they're as deep as a puddle. Like, they've got all, you look out and they're like, man, this is such a vast, nice area. And then you go look and just all the exact same. That's all this is. It's an average to below average conference. And that's all they're going to be going for it. And honestly, the Big 12 having this many teams in there is ridiculous. There's a Big 10, ACC, and SEC teams that aren't ranked that should be ranked over them. I'd take Georgia Tech, Louisville over Iowa State, Texas Tech. I would take Wisconsin or Iowa, Iowa and Nebraska over Texas Tech and Iowa State as an example. So I just am not a believer in the Big 12 having 4 ranked teams. That's 3. Honestly, that's 3 too many.
And that's the thing too, Daryl. Arizona State and Kansas State, I can get behind. Iowa State, I could kind of see it because of the Rocco Beck. But Texas Tech, like, come on. Like you said, Daryl, you just named 4 or 5 teams that we can legit, all 3 of us could sit here and have an argument about being in their place.
Yeah, let's give some justice to Vanderbilt, by the way. I mean, they beat Bama, they beat Georgia Tech at the end of the year, and they almost beat Texas. Nowhere on the list. Like, and they got their quarterback back, head coach returning.
And here's the thing: I think they received like 19 votes, and the other receiving votes. Missouri, Daryl, they're nowhere to be found after the incredible season they had 2 years ago, and then a decent follow-up year. They went 9-3, I think it was, a quiet 9-3 at that. And Walensky says if the Big Ten West was a conference, it'd be the Big. Lord have mercy.
I mean, he's not wrong, though. Arizona State almost lost to Mississippi State and Texas State at the beginning of the year. Now, I know they almost beat Texas because of, a fluky game. And, that's good for them. But we got to look at all the results and not cherry pick the one result. We do this for these lesser conferences. We cherry pick the one good result and say, this is who they are. We did with Boise State last year. Boise State, they almost beat Oregon. They did lose to them, but they almost beat them. Meanwhile, they almost lost to 2-10 Wyoming, North Texas. They almost got beaten by absolute scrubs. But nobody cared because they almost beat Oregon. It's ridiculous.
Well, that's the thing, too. I will say this, though. Daryl, when you talk about the cherry picking and everything, we have to make sure we keep that same energy, though, because you look at Ole Miss and Bama. When people were fussing on why they did not get in, And listen, I know Bama had the Georgia win. I get that. But guess what? Bama lost to Vandy and Oklahoma. Two losses that are inexcusable if you're Alabama. And Ole
Yeah,
Miss,
with Bama. That's the key thing. People held Bama to a higher standard because of their name. Are they? The fact is, if Vanderbilt played Arizona State right now, I don't know who would win that game from last year. And this idea that we need to factor in who you win against. If we just want to go solely by record, then listen, your Indiana's way is modeling, and all these great non-conference games and stuff's going to go away completely. You're already seeing teams like Tennessee, Virginia Tech say, "Why we are rescheduling this game?" They'll just claw it all back. Why is Alabama playing Ohio State in a few years? Why? Neither of them have literally anything to gain, especially if we go to the 4-4-2, 4-4-2-2-1-3 model. There's almost nothing to gain from these massive non-conference games. So we need to go by who you beat. And I don't think we're factoring in it enough. That's just my opinion, though. I know it's an unpopular opinion. My prediction is until 4 months from now, if the Big 12 or the ACC has a team like Clemson at 9-3, and they play a harder schedule, and then an SEC team goes 10-2 like Texas, and they get in, that everybody's going to reverse the argument, because it's not about the argument. It's about you want to represent your team or your conference, and you're just using the argument as a shield to get to the end of your goal.
Well, and that's the thing. And Jackson, I want you to speak on this, but people don't realize this. Like, the Georgia win may have been one of the best wins in the country. And when they brought that up in the argument, I had no problem with that. But I care about who you lose to, too, and how you look in that fashion. I try to look at it real. I don't care if you're Texas, Penn State, Vanderbilt. If you lose to a bad team that you're supposed to be, you need to be punished. And I understand.
Yeah, they were. They're not number one. We're putting them as the last team in the playoff field. We're not putting them on top. I mean, they had 4 better wins than SMU had all season, but nobody brought that up. No, it doesn't matter, because you could play South Dakota State, Villanova, Jack State, and that non-conference schedule is just as valid as Ohio State, Georgia Tech, and some FCS team. It's ridiculous, in my opinion. We need to look at. I'd be fine if people laid all the facts out there and was more nuanced about it, and then just made the different decision. But people aren't doing that, in my opinion. Look at Alabama's schedule. How many people brought up the fact that look at their best wins, their best loss? It should be like college basketball, where your record's a factor, and they're a heavy factor in there. If you want to even say the plurality, I'd be fine with that. But you need to look at who you beat in quad 1, quad 2, quad 3, quad 4. Were they home versus road or a neutral site game?
And I think too, what it is, too, Darrell, is I think it's also how Bama looked in that game. And let's be honest, Darrell, if Jalen Milroe doesn't throw those 2 picks, and one of them ended up being a pick six, if Bama didn't lose by as many as they did, and look like complete and utter garbage against Oklahoma, and lost by a touchdown or a field goal, maybe that could have came into play. But it's the fact that they look so bad doing it. And like Jackson and Jeffrey have always mentioned, Darrell, on their call-in show, if SMU had got blown out by Clemson, then we would have been back to even Stevenson, and I think Bama would have gotten in then.
Right. It's just ridiculous to me. That should be the determining factor, how you look instead of who you beat. To me, who you've beaten matters more than how you look. There's a lot of factors that goes into why a team has a bad night and has a good night. But we're just going to use it. Well, they didn't look good against this one team that was quote-unquote bad in Oklahoma. Therefore, they beat LSU, they beat Missouri, they beat Georgia. Nah, none of that matters. They looked bad against Oklahoma and Vanderbilt. Throw them in the trash. I mean, it's just, to me, it's too simple thinking for my understanding. The argument, and also, people don't even go into this level of depth at the same time, which really frustrates me. It feels like people are hiding the ball a bit when discussing this, and I think that's my bigger problem than even SMU getting selected.
Mm-hmm. Well, the thing too I want to say too, Daryl, is if Bama had just one bad performance, I could get with you on that argument, but it was twice, and it's one of the things. Two wrongs don't make a right. That's where
Let me ask you this, Austin. They
okay.
lose right now. Who Vanderbilt didn't finish up ranked, correct?
No.
Despite being nine. Let's say Alabama goes to Louisville, loses by 3 points.
Okay.
Is that as bad as losses in your mind as losing to Vanderbilt? Because that's basically the exact same thing. I think what's happening here is people associate Vanderbilt with being horrendous, and I think that stigma influenced people's decision. I think if it was any other team, except like Indiana, Boston College, a team that hasn't been awful for like 40 years, they would have gone in. But I think people are like, man, it's Vanderbilt, though. I mean, we've seen what they've done over the last 50 years of their life. They've literally been horrendous their entire existence. So we really don't believe it, though.
Mm-hmm. And here's the thing, too, Jackson, this is where you come in at. But, Jackson, what did you say after that Vandy loss? Take it away.
Oh, man. I wasn't happy about it, but we let that Georgia game go to our heads. That's what happened.
By the way, to answer Dave's point, Vanderbilt didn't go 6-6 last year. They beat Virginia Tech in non-conference play. They beat Alabama. They almost beat Texas. I mean, what do you want out of this team? If I told you, I mean, just give me a middle of the road ACC team. If I told you Virginia Tech is going to beat Clemson, and they're going to only lose to Miami by 3 points. People are going to be acting like Virginia Tech was this up-and-coming team that's going to have a great time season next year. But since it's Vanderbilt, and since they have 50 years of stigma attached to them, nobody fully believes in them, and therefore people just intuitively are like, man, they've beaten 2 top 3 teams this year, or they beat the number 1 team, and they almost beat Texas, who was in the top 3. I still don't fully believe in them because, I don't know, because they're just Vanderbilt.
And here's the thing, Daryl, and this is going to get people started, but Vanderbilt, Indiana are not all that different if you think about it.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely agree with you.
Because here's the thing, if Indiana had beaten Ohio State, what would have been the talk of the town that day? Oh my gosh, Ohio State, what is wrong with you? You lost to Indiana. They suck. They're a basketball school. Kind of like Vandy. It would have been the talk of the town. And Ohio State would have missed the playoffs, just like Bama. Go ahead, Jackson.
Dave Politsky's talking about Vanderbilt losing to Georgia State. Something I've noticed about Georgia State is that they tend to really give SEC teams a hard time. That's something I've noticed about them throughout the last few years. Not saying you should be losing Georgia State. You shouldn't be. But that's just the reality. Georgia State.
Yeah, and that is a bad loss. But say acting like Vanderbilt's this inept team that went 3-9. They not the case. They beat Kentucky. They beat Virginia Tech. They beat multiple capable programs outside of Alabama. And they were competitive in all their games. They didn't get blown out, I don't think, once throughout the entire season. They almost beat Missouri. I mean, people just completely whitewashed that game. They should have beat them. They went to double overtime and lost to Missouri. So, I mean, what do you want? They beat one top 15 team, and they lose to 2 teams that was just ranked at one being one of the 5 best teams in the country and one inside the top 25. I mean, I don't know what people want out of these teams other than them just winning every game. And not everyone can win every game. But, guys, I got to get going. It's been a pleasure talking to you all. I look forward to week 1 when half these teams lose and, SoCal State or something like that beats one of these teams, and then it's going to be all completely upside down. We got all the answers until we don't.
I agree, man.
And to Hummus's point, he said the Buckeyes handled Indiana relatively with ease, though, Austin. Yes, I get that, Hummus. I'm not arguing for that. I was just making the point, though, if they had, but we don't ever have to worry about that, though. Ohio State did their job. Like, I want you to understand that. And Troy V says, if Ohio State losing to Indiana would be a sign. Yes. Making this clear, guys. Making this clear. I'm just using that as a reference point if they had, but Indiana was never in that game to begin with. Just putting that out there. Just using that as a reference point of what we could compare that to. That's all. That's all. But you all are both right. And Jerry Jones says, "What's up, Hummus?" But with that being said, though, Jack, if nobody else wants to call in, is there anything else you want to talk about?
That's about it for me.
Wrong button. So, with that being said, Jackson, there is something, though, Jackson, we can do. And Walter Mackey says, I don't understand the undeserved hype around Miami. I think they're set up for a down season. Agreed. Jackson is the biggest arbitrary in that. Jackson will tell you up front he's against Miami. Go ahead, good buddy. This is your area.
Well, I've got nothing personal against Miami. It's just I'm with Walter Mackey. I don't really see the hype for him. It's like I think people just get way too obsessed with the '80s, way too much, which is why I like Miami gets hyped up a lot. And the fact that they did win a lot in the early 2000s, 2001, 2002, and 2000. They won in those years, but thing was, after Butch Davis, it went all downhill from there. I mean, it wouldn't have mattered if a friggin' janitor was the head coach for 2001. They were winning it all. I mean, Larry Coker really couldn't keep things rolling at Miami. I mean, it was just it all started to go downhill from there.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, we appreciate the comments, everyone, and we've got some magic coming for all of you.
Not this again.
It's all right. Let them.
Real fast. I can't let this go unsaid. Oh my gosh. Mr. Fools, listen. With all due respect. Hold on, Jack. Oh, and we have another caller here as well, Jackson.
There
If
you
you
go.
want to introduce it.
Absolutely, man.
And I'll be right back.
We'll go a few minutes. We'll go a few minutes. That's no problem. How you doing today, good buddy?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. I hope you don't hear the sound of the machine.
Absolutely, man. No problem at all.
Well, I just basically to say hi, and I'm really excited for the college football season, and I like the idea of the AP poll coming out and seeing what they have to say. There's a little argument here and there, but there's not much you can really say. I kind of look at it like, okay, what did Oklahoma do to get, this much love already? Hello?
We're here. We are here.
All right. I just wanted to make sure.
Well, how
So
you feel about that top 25 poll from the AP for the preseason?
I feel good about it. I really do. Like I said, there's not much of an argument except for Oklahoma, and I don't know if Tennessee should get the love that they're getting, and I don't think that Ole Miss should either yet. I also look at like Illinois is a little bit overranked. I thought they should be at least like 16th, maybe 18th. That's the thing, and is Miami going to Miami it up? Get knocked out again at the end of the year, which could
Agreed.
happen. So, what did you? I mean, anything that you felt were like a little you know,
Oh, I mean, about
off.
Miami, LSU being in the same ranking for the AP and coaches poll. I think it's kind of stupid, but I'm just like, I got nothing against Miami and LSU, but it's just, I wish them a lot of luck, but I just don't see a good season for either one of them. Not the season they're hoping for, but we'll wait and see. We'll wait and see. There's probably that one team we don't expect to fall off the map out of the top 10.
And does Georgia South still run? I'm sorry, not Georgia South, but does Georgia State still run the triple option, or is that Southern Georgia South or
You were
Southern
talking, you
Georgia?
meant Georgia Southern, and no.
So they don't. So they don't run the triple option anymore. All right, because they.
Anymore.
All right, so it's just the academies.
Well, yeah.
All right. All right. Yeah. Well, I really don't have much to really talk about. I think I talked a lot last time we were on about at least the Big Ten. I'm not surprised that the rankings came out and there was like 10 SEC schools
Oh,
because
yeah.
I always feel that that's always going to be until the Big Ten, is constantly doing better than the SEC. They're not going to get the same amount of love yet. But yeah, that's pretty much it. You guys wanted to get going to bed here, and I still have some work to do. So I'll talk to you guys later.
All right, man. We'll see you soon, goodbye.
All right, see you later, guys. Bye.
Bye bye. And that's our last caller for the night, old Minnesota Dave. And we are wondering where Austin is. No worries. And there he is. Well, he's somewhere. Gerard Jones believes Oregon is overrated. Ooh. That's wow. Quite an accusation on the Donald Ducks right there. But we'll wait and see what happens. We will wait and see what happens for the Oregon Ducks. And 53 of people, here we go. 54 people tuning in on X, on my personal Instagram. Thank you so much for tuning in. And of course, if you want to watch it on YouTube, you can also tune in on Jackson Johnson 979 on YouTube and on Sports Talk with Austin. You're not going to want to miss what we're doing all right here on these channels. Here we go. Scary thing about Jeremiah Smith is he's the last receiver to win the Heisman. Smith, Devontae Smith. Yup. The last Ohio State player to win Heisman was also Smith. Very spooky. Oh, yeah. Very, very spooky. Well, Walter Mackey's really pulling for the Irish to win against Miami. I think that's kind of a people are kind of flipping. They're just like, yeah, we don't care. We just want to see these teams beat each other up. We want to see Notre Dame, Miami beat each other up. I mean, a lot of people are not too crazy about Notre Dame because they're not in a conference, I guess. And people are really irritated with Miami because they've only been to the ACC title game once since they joined the ACC in 2004. And ever since then, that's it. They've not won division title. They've not won conference title. Nothing. Nothing. But we'll wait and see. Maybe Cristobal's got things going for him. We'll wait and see. Oh, I agree. I agree. I mean, there's no doubt about it. There's a whole lot of questions about each of these teams. Everyone in all college football. I mean, there's questions for everybody. I mean, there's always going to be that one team that doesn't get any hype. You're going to see, I don't know if we'll see somebody beat the next Indiana. I'm not saying that there should be. I'm not saying there shouldn't be. But I'm just saying I can't help but wonder. Does Utah kind of count as the Nets Indiana? Because they had a losing record last season, partly because pretty much because the fact that Cam Rising got hurt. It's a reasonable question to ask. Because think about it, though. Indiana in 2023 had a losing record. I mean, for God's sakes, they had a few overtimes against Akron. That's bad. That is bad. It took a few overtimes to beat Akron in 2023. That was in the Tom Allen era. They're like, okay, you're done. So they're going to get Kurt Sidney. Things work out. Nobody's even expected a playoff berth, but here they are. They're surprising everybody, taking everybody by storm. Who is that next Indiana? That's going to be the question. Oh, agreed. Agreed. I just maybe it's living rent free in my head a little too much. But Illinois being labeled as the next Indiana, that I don't understand that horse down. I don't. I really don't. And the fact also is, could Purdue really surprise everybody? I don't think they can. I don't know. I mean, Barry Odom can get things rolling, but not in his first year. But we'll wait and see.
I made it back. Okay, we're good.
Here we go.
Here we go. And listen, Jackson and Steven says real fast, Utah's an established football program. Indiana's always been trashing. And we're getting Indiana slander. Oh, Lord.
Well, I mean, Indiana did celebrate going 7-5 in 2007. So it was like, and they did have a really good year in the COVID year. But I mean,
And Randy Anderson says, from what I heard, Ty Simpson will be really good. Which is a nice segue because Randy Anderson, since you're a Bama guy, have I got some news for you?
agreed.
If you want to hear more about this whole Ty Simpson debacle, you know where to check this video out, because this young man right here, I say young, but he's actually 50. He looks young, but he's actually, no, I'm just messing with you. But if you want to know more about the Ty Simpson quarterback situation, check it out at Alabama, the voice of college football, where there's so many great things, so many good changes coming ahead for the network, hopefully. But Jackson, fill the people in on what's up next on that for Bama and tell them what's cooking.
Well, you can tune in to see what Jeffrey and I have cooking on Alabama The Voice College Football, and you'll definitely see what Coach Smoke has cooking on Alabama The Voice College Football. And you'll see some magic cooking up all right here on Alabama The Voice College Football. Tune in. You're not going to want to miss it.
But great. It's a great channel. Check it out. We'll leave the links in the description. Go subscribe. Give it a like, comment, subscribe. Do all that good stuff because Jackson's working hard to build it. And if you want to support Jackson or me personally, Jackson, what have you got cooking on your personal YouTube channel? People just want to check you out. If they're not a Bama fan, but they like you, where can they check you out?
Well, I'm cooking up some Jacksonian episodes. So you're going to be really happy to see what I have cooking for episode 78 and episode 79, and who'll be on episode 80. And I can tell you right now, you're going to really love the guests that you'll see in the upcoming episodes. Because I'm going to tell you right now, we're rocking and rolling all right here on Jackson Johnson 979. But at some point, you're going to see the YouTube handle change where you're going to see like all kinds of stuff. But I mean, of course, you see me collaborate with my good buddy Austin and my good buddy Will and D. And, you know, from time to time, you'll be seeing my good buddy Jeffrey at Only Talk Sports collaborate with myself as well. And I can tell you right now, we've got some magic coming your way all right here. And, of course, for more updates on what we've got on Alabama The Voice College Football or Jacksonian, check me out on Jackson BOCFB on @/Twitter and on Instagram and Threads at Jackson Johnson 543908. where I also put out my calls on the Paul Feinbaum Show.
Mm-hmm. And if you want to find Jackson too, don't forget to look where the sky is blue. Go ahead.
That's what my friend Mike Debate says. You can also check me out on Blue Sky, but if you're not into that, that's okay. Some say the skies are blue, some say the skies are gray, some say the skies are overcast. I say to each their own. But you can also check out what I've got on there as well. Austin, what have you got going on there in your world, good buddy?
So for some of you that may be watching on Jackson's channel, you can also find me on Sports Talk with Austin 2002. Find me on X. I just got a Facebook account. And I got Instagram too. I gotta put that link in there. But if you want to check me out or check Jackson out, that'd be fantastic. We all each is their own. And I will say this: what we've got cooking is in 2 weeks' time. Picks and analysis and final whistle will return. Return. Me and Jackson are back for season 2. We're like that TV sitcom show. You thought you were just getting a 1 season and then getting a cancellation. Oh, no. It's getting renewed and we're coming back bigger, better than ever. And we're going to be rocking the world and making people notice what the heck is going on over here on the hippity hop side, so to speak. But yeah, that's where you can find me. And before we got one more stream coming for you guys and let us know if you're interested in it. But me and Jackson are going to talk about the All-American teams, the All-ACC, the All-Conference teams, and our early Heisman candidate favorites. Go over the preseason Heisman favorites, conference, who we think will make all-conference teams. We're going to do that before the season starts sometime later this week. It might be on Friday. It might be Wednesday. It might be Saturday. It might be Sunday. But we will do it later this week. So be on the lookout for that. And then it'll be final whistle and picks and analysis time. So look out for that. And that's what we've got coming this week. Me and Jackson will be live one more time. And then it'll officially be football season. So tune in for that. And with that being, we need a Louisville voice of college football and hosted by Austin. I listen. I don't think I would be that good, Steven, but I appreciate it. I do. But in all seriousness,
Well, if you want to see it happen, email voicecollegefootball@gmail.com to let your voice be heard.
I appreciate that, guys. I do. But with that being said, though, me and Jackson will still be here. I have Jackson. That's all that counts. But I mean, it would be cool, but that's another story for another day. But with that being said, though, me and Jackson will be back with that, and we might even talk about the group of fives, cluster it all in. But with that being said, though, this has been the preseason AP Top 25 reaction and call-in show. Thank you all for being here. We could not do this without your support and love. It means the world to us, it really does, because it shows you care about us and you want to be here with us. Because who else is going to be here with us on a Monday night at the cross midnight on these platforms? But with that being said, like, comment, subscribe, click on the notification bell so you never miss another video, and we will catch you on the flippity side. Go Cards, everybody.
Go Cards and Roll Tide.